Per the usual, the guinea pig is making noise, but we know the drill. We know that's just what goes down here. You want to see the guinea pig? I feel like we've all heard her in the background. You've heard me talk about her, but let me just introduce you. We're still going to talk about crystals. Don't worry. If you hate cute things, just fast forward. What's the matter with you? But let me just introduce you to Miss Lexi. Hold on. Hello, ma'am. How are you today? I know what you want. I brought you something. Even though you've already ate twice today. Here you go. Yum, yum, yum. I got a little more. You want some more? There we go. All right, Miss Lexi Lynn. Did you do all that? Girl, I just cleaned you. Oh, you do have like the most high fiber diet. I know. So whenever she's chewing on her house, this is the house that she's chewing on. This is her little wooden house. Sometimes she does chew on the plastic coroplast, but for the most part, it's just her little wooden house. But here she is, the star of the show, the talent, the one and only Miss Lexi. There you go. Go up there, have some hay, eat some more fiber. You know, I would love to have more poop to clean out here when I'm done filming. Okay, say bye. Hey, howdy, and hello, humans. Welcome back to my house. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about 5 crystal myths. So 5 things that you hear pretty commonly about crystals, particularly specific crystals, that just are not true. Now, I have been collecting crystals for over 30 years. I've used crystals in my practice the entire time. So how long have I been practicing again? Like 23 years? Whew. I've used them the entire time. I work with crystals on a regular basis. I have also taken 4 healing crystal courses. So I am a certified crystal healer, although this is not something that I practice or do, and I will get into that in a minute. I took the courses more so just to absorb as much information as I possibly could about crystals and their uses and all that stuff. And I will sing the praises of crystals all day long. You know me. You know, I'm obsessed with crystals. They're pretty much with me all the time. You can't even see my little crystal display over here. Like sometimes you can, but they're with me everywhere. They're in my bra right now. Like I'm wearing them. I'm wearing them on my bracelet. Like I've always got crystals with me and around me, and I love them. So I'm not dogging on crystals, and I'm not dogging on anybody who believes these things or follows these things. But in my experience and the ways that I have worked with crystals, I have just found these things to be false. So moving right along into that, let's just jump into this list about 5 things that are not true about crystals. Myth number 1, selenite dissolves in water. Now this is one that people talk about all the time. Like, don't put selenite in water. Selenite will dissolve in water. You can't put selenite in water. This is not true. You know, you've had a lot of people that are like, oh, I tried to cleanse my selenite in water and I came back and it was gone. If you put a piece of selenite in water and you came back and it was gone, it was not selenite. It could have been some type of salt crystal. Now, halite will dissolve in water because it is a salt crystal. That being said, should you be soaking your selenite in water? No, it is sensitive to water. It can become brittle and it can break apart, but it will not dissolve. It will break down and you will damage your crystal. But if it gets wet, it's not the end of the world. I don't recommend you put it in your bath. I definitely don't put it in a gem elixir. You don't want to be drinking the gypsum, but it's not going to dissolve. And I actually have an experiment I did, and I will cut to that right now. Okay, so for this little experiment, I'm going to use 2 different pieces of the satin spar selenite. I'm going to use a polished piece, which has actually been in my dog's mouth, so it's already kind of a little beat up. So I figured if any of these are going to completely just dissolve, it would be that one. And then I'm going to use a more raw, just a bar, just like a little mini selenite wand, and they're going to go into this glass of water. And let me just check the date. It is currently 6:06 p.m. on December, on September 13th. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plop these in. Let me do the bigger one first. All right, so we've got that one going in, bloop, and that one going in. Boop. Hopefully your hearts did not just sink. These are going to sit in here until tomorrow. We'll just see what happens. You're just going to have to trust me. I'm not taking them out of the water. They're going to sit in there all night and all day tomorrow until I film tomorrow's video. And they'll stay submerged in the water while I'm filming all my videos tomorrow. So I'm just letting you know I'm not taking them out of the water. This is what I'm doing. This is my experiment. And, you know, you're just going to have to trust me on this one. All right, here is the time. It's several hours later. And it is not dissolved yet. So we'll check back in later or tomorrow. Okay, so admittedly, life got busy. So here we are. It is September 29th. I'll have to look back at the footage. I don't even remember what day that I started this, but they're still in there. I have not moved them. Some of the water's gone. I actually think that there is a dead bug floating in there. Delightful. So here they are. Still intact. Not dissolved. I'm going to take these out. Oh God, there's that bug. Ugh. I'm going to take these out in a little bit and see how brittle they are, but either way, they did not dissolve. Okay, I have poured the water off, so let's just dump these guys out right here. As you can see, still fully intact. It does look a little more, brittle to me. This one looks pretty good. I can, nothing's breaking off of it. Sorry if this is not focusing very well, guys. The lighting in here is not very good. And yeah, so it's still intact, but it does look a little brittle to me. But, focus please. But it did not dissolve after all that time. Well over a week. Did not dissolve. So, I don't recommend that you leave your selenite in water. But if it gets wet, it'll be okay. But I still don't recommend putting it in your bath or something like that. But it's not cotton candy. It's not going to just poof dissolve if it gets wet. So as you can see, it didn't dissolve. Now you may say, I don't believe you. I don't think you actually left the crystal, the satin spar selenite in there for that long, and that's fine. You do not have to trust or believe me. If you want to still go by, you don't want to get your selenite wet at all, that's fine. But I'm just letting you know that if it did get wet, it's not the end of the world. I still don't recommend doing this, but it's not going to just dissolve in water. Myth number 2, moldavite will ruin your life. So this is kind of a newer one. Now moldavite's been praised as a very powerful crystal for a very long time. Now it's technically glass, it's not a crystal. And I feel like this kind of started on TikTok where somebody was like, oh, moldavite can ruin your life. It's just too powerful, blah, 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 blah. But people also say moldavite will change your life. You get a little piece of moldavite and you wear it and whatever. Now, number one, moldavite is rare and genuine moldavite is expensive. So what a lot of people are buying is not genuine moldavite. I have a piece of genuine moldavite that I have lost. So it's got to be somewhere, but it's not in the container that it came in. Oh my gosh, maybe moldavite really is all powerful and it just disappeared because I didn't believe in it. Just kidding, that's not real. But people were like, oh, I put this moldavite on and like my life went crazy. My boyfriend broke up with me and all this stuff. And the general theory is that it may uproot everything in your life, but it's because it's helping you reach your highest self and your best self. So yeah, maybe your boyfriend broke up with you or your girlfriend or whatever, but it was for the better and you may see that in the future. But here's the thing, guys. One piece of glass, no matter how cool it is, how the glass was formed via a meteor and all this stuff, that alone is not going to uproot your life. Now, that being said, if you wear something that you fully believe you will notice changes in your life. But that is from you. That is not from a crystal or a piece of glass. Moldavite is cool. Moldavite does have properties, but moldavite alone is not going to fix or ruin your life. People have to take responsibility for their own lives. And yes, you can use things to help you, but in general, like you got to take responsibility for that. You can't rely on or depend on something like a crystal or, you know, this really cool piece of glass formed by a meteor. So moldavite's cool, but it's not going to uproot your life. And if you put moldavite on and you feel like it did, that's fine. I'm just telling you what I know. Myth number 3, crystals can cure illnesses and diseases. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I've taken 4 crystal healing courses. So I am a certified crystal healer 4 times over. There is no like general certification for this, by the way, just so you know. Like if people say there is, there's not. It is a pseudoscience. Go into it knowing that. But again, I took these classes and these courses because I just wanted to absorb as much information and knowledge as I could about crystals. And although I do feel that my life has been improved in some ways by the use of crystals, they will not heal illnesses or diseases. Can they help put you in the right frame of mind? And can possibly a placebo effect allow you to better heal your own body? Absolutely. But putting crystals on your body is not going to cure any terminal diseases. It's not going to cure any illnesses. At best, it can just kind of help you be in a more balanced state vibrationally, which can better allow your body to heal. But the crystals themselves cannot do that. They cannot take away a virus. They cannot take away a tumor. That's just not how that works, unfortunately. I wish it was, because I pretty much have everything I would ever need to never be sick, or those around me to ever be sick. So just keep that in mind, be realistic, and just know that although they can do great things for you and help put you in a better frame of mind and help you be more balanced vibrationally, they themselves are not going to cure you of anything. Number 4, a broken crystal means that it protected you from something. Now, this is one thing we see a lot. Somebody gets a crystal necklace and then out of the blue, for seemingly no reason, it broke. And then you've got all the people that come in and say, oh, that means it definitely protected you from something. And I'm not saying that this is never the case. There's lots of instances that people talked about, like how they had a crystal to protect them from something and the crystal changed color and things like that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's never possible. It never happened. But what I'm saying is that more often than not, there is a mundane explanation as to why that crystal broke. One, a lot of the crystal necklaces that people are buying are fake. They are plastic. We all saw that in my buying items from TikTok ads, that a lot of these crystal necklaces people are buying are not real. So they're going to be more prone to breakage. Another thing is it depends on the crystal that you're wearing. It may not be safe to be in the sun. It may not be safe to get wet. These things may cause it to become more brittle and more prone to breaking. There could have also been a crack already in crystals. Have imperfections. They have cracks and things like that. So sometimes they'll just break under stress, and a crystal bouncing around on you as you're wearing it, your bracelets, causes stress. So if it already has a fracture in it, it can break just from added stress. I can't even tell you how many hematite rings I have had, and they have all broken. And it's not because the hematite has protected me from something. It's because hematite really should not be getting wet. It can weaken it. And these things are already weak from being carved and manipulated, and they're pretty brittle to begin with. And I sweat a lot. I live in a humid environment. I probably washed my hands a lot while wearing it. And over time, it broke. Not because it protected me, because I did not take proper care of it. So, and that can just be the case. If you're wearing crystals in your bra and you're sweating, even if it's just a little bit, over time, a crystal that's not supposed to be getting wet will break. Or just, it'll break down and pieces of it can come off. So just keep that in mind, that not every crystal is appropriate to be worn against your skin. It shouldn't be getting wet or just being worn a lot in general. If you're out in the sun a lot of crystals can become brittle in the sun and cause breakage. And like I said, it could have already had a crack to begin with. So just because your crystal broke doesn't mean it protected you from something. Doesn't mean you have to go around worrying like, oh my gosh, did somebody throw something at me, like energetically, like what's going on? Is something bad in my life? And this crystal broke because it was protecting me from something so major. That's not necessarily the case. So just keep that in mind. Number 5 is probably going to rub some people the wrong way, and some people are going to be like, no, I cannot go along with this. And that's fine. But number 5 for me is that crystals have to be charged. I don't view crystals as batteries, that they have to be charged. I'm not saying that they don't have to be cleansed of energy, because I do believe crystals can hold energy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't program a crystal. I'm saying I personally don't believe you have to charge a crystal. A crystal has certain vibrations to it based on what kind of crystal it is and how it was formed. And it is what it is. And also depending on like if it's in its raw form or polished form or shape can determine the way the energy exits this crystal, right? How the energy is put out will be altered in that way. But you don't have to charge it. Like, it's not like this crystal only holds so much energy and then it used it all, and now it's just a pretty thing on a shelf that won't do anything. I do not follow that narrative at all. I don't believe they have to be charged. Like I said, I will cleanse them. Some of them I will program for a specific intention. But if it's a crystal that I know is good for protection, I know it's going to be good for that. And me personally, I think that sizes of crystals do make a difference as far as how much energy they're putting out and how much they can do for you. But if a crystal is meant to do that, like this amethyst here, if I wanted to use this for protection, because I know it's good for protection, I know it's good for that. I don't think it's going to protect me for a little bit and then not anymore because it ran out of its juice. I don't think that it has to be charged in that way. You know, if you want to add your energy to it, absolutely. And if you feel like you need to add that from time to time, great. But crystals by themselves, in my opinion, do not have to be charged because they're not batteries. So there you have it. 5 crystal myths. Again, this is just based on my opinions and just, you know, from my research and my experience with working with crystals for so many years. You may have different opinions and that's totally fine. But what are some myths that you believe about crystals? Like things that you know are really popular opinions, but you just don't abide by them. You're like, I don't believe that at all. Like, what kind of myths have you come across regarding crystals? And do you disagree with this list? Do you feel like crystals do need to be charged or that moldavite can uproot your life? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. I love talking with you all, so just let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you never miss another video. And with that, I bid you all farewell. I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month, year, life. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.